Good morning, everyone. Jeff of Jeff's Gameblog here again, and this morning I'm talking about books, particularly a source of inspirational material for game masters that maybe you haven't thought about in a while, the kids section of your local library. It's a lot of great stuff, particularly in the non-fiction section that you can pillage for your campaign. Almost all the books in front of me I got from section J398, that's in the juvenile non-fiction section. Even though it says non-fiction, there's a lot of fictional material in there. So let's take a look. The Story of Vampires. This is everything you need to know about vampires. Includes drawings and quite a few stills from like old Bela Lugosi movies and stuff like that. I read this one when I was a kid. Still love it. Here are some fairy type books. Piskies, Spriggans, and Other Magical Beings. This one's Imps, Demons, Hobgoblins, Witches, Fairies, and Elves. And Abbey Lubbers, Banshees, and Boggarts. Or is that Bogarts? I'm not sure. Anyway, what I love about these books is they usually do not try to explain the symbolism inherent in the creature. They don't go into the deeper psychological meanings. They take them seriously as monsters, talk about them, give you an interesting picture, and because it's written for kids, it's easy for adults to breeze through, perfect for mining for new monster ideas and scenario ideas. Check stuff like that out. Again, that's section J398. I also found in that same section The Story of the Champions of the Round Table by Howard Pyle. Howard Pyle wrote a lot of boys' adventure, ripping yarn sort of things, and lavishly illustrated them himself. He's a great illustrator. I picked out King Arthur because I know there's got to be a few people out there who want to run Pendragon, but they've seen Excalibur and Monty Python the Holy Grail. They love that stuff, but they weren't sure where to start reading some background material. This is the perfect place to get you started. You can read Mallory later, you can read Tennyson's Idylls of the King at some future point. Start with Howard Pyle's version of King Arthur. That's my recommendation. I also found this book, The Wizard's Daughter. I got this one based purely on visuals. It's just gorgeously illustrated. A lot of it's set underground. Great stuff to inspire the GM, or maybe you can come up with a scenario where there are some sheep in a cave and a wizard wearing this awesome hat. I really ought to scan this picture in for you. Pardon me. This is a book called Pyramid from DK Eyewitness Books. This is actually my daughter's, but our local library is crawling with this series of eyewitness books. It's mostly photographs, short blurbs. There's one on mummies. I've seen a volume on Vikings, another on knights. Great, quick, inspirational material for the GM to look through. And finally, if your library has an online catalog, and it should, check it out. If not, walk, don't run to your local library and see if they have JB Post's and Atlas of Fantasy. This thing is awesome. It's chock full of maps of all sorts that were previously published in like fantasy novels or old serials and other places. Like, this blew me away. Here's a map of Barsetshire and accompanying villages. Barsetshire is the setting for 6 or 7 legitimate Victorian novels by Anthony Trollope. What's great about this for a game master is you do some sort of gaslight fantasy game or Call of Cthulhu set in Victorian England. You want to get out of London and into the countryside? Boom, you got maps. There's enough maps here to run a whole campaign set in Barsetshire. And here's another really great thing. This one goes out to my Encounter Critical fans and similar gonzo people. Captain Future Planet maps. There's a bunch of these in here, and they're just drawn beautifully, very inspirational. I tell you, I could run a campaign based on just these maps with at least one session on each of these planets. I'm definitely scanning some of these in to share with you. There are lots of other places in here. The Dreamlands, Hyboria, familiar ones like that, and more obscure ones. And the last one in the map is the last one in the book is a map by Jack Scrooby, one of the old-time miniatures wargamers. His map called Mafrica, which was, hey, I need a place to set my games. Possibly the first place created strictly for wargaming. So, little piece of gaming history in the back of an otherwise already awesome book. So I hate to sound like the end of a special The More You Know segment on a Saturday morning cartoon, but really, check out your local library. Don't be afraid to go into the kids section if you don't have a kid with you. The librarians want to lend you books, and they're more than happy to check out these for you, and they won't laugh. I know, I've tried it myself. So I hope you take me up on this. Visit your local library, go down to the kiddies section, and see what you can find. See you all next week.